Today's episode of Nerdist News is sponsored by SYFY's Nightflyers. We've got our first look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe after the snappening. Marvel fans around the world are currently at DEF CON 1, anxiously awaiting a trailer, a plot synopsis, hell, even just a title for Avengers 4. But since those cruel mistresses, the Russo brothers, aren't spilling the beans just yet, we're looking to other sources to get our Marvel fix. And thankfully on Tuesday, we got our first official details at what the Marvel Cinematic Universe will actually look like after the snappening. And Thanos, he wiped out half of all life in the universe. You guys get it, you saw that movie. In the official film tie-in novel, Marvel's Avengers, Infinity War, The Cosmic Quest Volume 2, Aftermath. They should see a gastroenterologist because that is too much colon. Though the book didn't reveal everything about what we can expect from Avengers 4, it did give us quite a few details that paint a much clearer picture about what we can expect from the film. So let's break down all of that right now. First off, the author, Brandon T. Snyder, tweeted out the front and back of the book, which came with a synopsis that says, "A deadly threat emerged from the cosmos, and it was fulfilled. In the wake of Thanos' horrifying success, the people of Earth are left reeling in despair and confusion. Without any logical explanation for the blip-out event, those remaining must pick up the pieces." The blip-out event? The blurb continues. Dr. Eric Selvig and his associate Darcy Lewis are determined to find and understand the cause of the devastation. With a team of friends, old and new, they embark on a pursuit of knowledge, eager to discover the links between their own pasts and the stones that decimated half of humanity, the Infinity Stones. Little do they know that a new foe who threatens to destroy them all is looming. I think they mean like peering over, not like making a cool sweater. Wow, there's a lot to unpack here. Again, we're seeing more references to that bigger threat. Though the book doesn't really dive into what that is, it does seem to reinforce the rumors we've been hearing about something worse than Thanos on the horizon. And it also seems to validate that toy leak of Rocket and Thor from a few months ago. And you might remember Selvig and Lewis as Thor's good buds from Thor in the Dark World, and they're up to their old science-based tricks trying to figure out what exactly happened to half of their pals, and also who left all these tiny piles of dirt everywhere. Hello? It's called a broom. Jane Foster also makes a return in this book, though that's not a guarantee that Natalie Portman will reprise her role in Avengers 4. The snappening also has a name in the book that isn't the snappening. It's referred to as the decimation event, which sounds cool until you realize that the literal meaning of decimate means destroying 1/10 of something and not 1/2, Professor. But we admit that decimation does sound better than halfamation. It's also worth noting that it appears that the book takes place years after the decimation event, which leads us to believe that Avengers 4 will also feature a pretty big time jump. And you know what else? Society seems to be doing just fine without half of the population. Shops and motels are still open, money's being spent, which means the government is unfortunately still around. Cars are still on the road with gas, so major infrastructure is still in place, and science is still being scienced. So sadly, it appears Thanos' plan may have worked and humanity hasn't gone down a leftovers like depression hole. Also, people have no idea who or what caused the decimation event. In one section of the book, Darcy seems shocked after seeing a vision of a talking raccoon in a tree fighting aliens, which tells us that the Avengers and company have done a pretty good job of keeping all this stuff under wraps. How'd they miss that giant CrossFit California raisin? You figure it might have gotten out. The book also does a good job sprinkling in details from the films that'll surely come up in Avengers 4, including describing the Reality Stone as a radical quantum selector, which can physically manifest alternate realities into the Avengers universe. Now, some interesting theories have speculated that the quantum realm could allow travel to these alternate realities, so perhaps we could see that come into play in the movie. Now, speaking of the Infinity Stones, it might be revealed that Loki is still alive, baby! In the book, Selvig and his crew attempt to recover a piece of his soul that was removed by Loki's scepter in the first Avengers film. Loki appears out of the dark and confronts Selvig in his mind. Sorry, that's X-Men. But soon, they'll be there. Ultimately asking, have you concluded your investigation? Are you really here, or am I a figment of your imagination? What's the verdict? Flawless Loki impression. Now, of course, this isn't confirmation that Loki survived his run-in with Thanos at the start of Infinity War, but if Tom Hiddleston's Loki miniseries that's set to air in the Disney Plus streaming service is any indication, Thor's brother is most likely still alive somewhere in the MCU, and I'm not talking about our hearts. All in all, the book mostly acts as an MCU recap while also explaining why and how your average human might know about Thanos and the Infinity Stones. But there are a few key details in the book that are worth thinking about, especially since these are the first details of what the Marvel Cinematic Universe will look like during Avengers 4. But what do you folks think? Do you want Avengers 4 to start right after the snap, or do you like the idea that it could show us the universe and how it looks a few years into the future? Do you think that SYFY is going to play a bigger role in the events of Avengers 4? And do you think we will actually get a title anytime soon, or are they just going to reveal it when the movie finally debuts in theaters? Let's discuss. Thank you again to SYFY's Nightflyers. Based on George R.R. Martin's novella, Nightflyers is a psychological thriller set in the year 2093 that follows a team of scientists aboard the most advanced spaceship ever built. Their mission takes them to the edge of space, but also to the edge of insanity, as they realize the true horror is already on their ship. Nightflyers combines horror and science fiction in a way that George R.R. Martin himself describes as psycho in space. And because it's from his nightmare factory of a brain, you know it's going to be supremely messed up and highly addictive. Watch SYFY's Nightflyers, all episodes streaming in December.